Wow! What's happening, everybody? That's right, we back. It's Monday. Welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am he, your host. We got another powerful one for you today. Listen, grab something to write with. Last week, the phones blew up, the emails blew up, the internet blew up, everything blew up. It was a powerful podcast last week. And a lot of people got a lot of information out of it, and I'm happy about that. I'm glad. Matter of fact, if you're just joining us for the very first time, thank you. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. If you've not went to YouTube and searched us out, go there and be our guest. Not our guest, what you call it? Subscribe. Be a part of what we're doing on YouTube as well. You can see some of the crazy faces I'm making and all of those good things. So I definitely appreciate you. Then also go to Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com. Subscribe there, like, share, both on YouTube as well as on Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com. So thank you guys for all of the first time people that's logging in from wherever you are around the world. Thank you. For all of the people that's here with us every week, thank you. The reason I say thank you, because you can be doing anything around the world. You can be doing anything at this moment, but you chose to spend some time with us, and I truly appreciate that with more love than you can absolutely even imagine. So I just want to say thank you for that. Now, getting into the podcast for this last week, Loving Without Walls was an absolute bonanza. It was absolutely bonanza. The way the people just responded, and the love and the information that people said they got, they received, they understood it. Some people called and wanted to take notes. They needed to go back. They needed to refresh, review, all of those good things. So I just want to say thank you guys. I appreciate it. Keep up that energy this week. And, send emails, send text messages, send smoke signals, all of that stuff. Subscribe and send messages there, send emails, whatever it may be. And just let me hear from you guys. Let me hear from you guys. I love to interact. I love to converse. I love to communicate. It's just a beautiful thing. So thank you. Now, for this week, and we got all of those things out the way. Shout out to, man, you know what? I don't know why this just came to me, but I want to say this. Man, shout out to the Ninth Ward. Wow, what's happening, family? Shout out to the Ninth Ward. You heard? Yep. I just wanted to shout out my people real quick. Actually, shout out the whole NOLA. Everybody, if you don't know what NOLA is, you're going to have to find that out. Go to Google AI or go to AI, go to something, but you're going to have to figure it out. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get into the podcast, all right? I hope I gave you guys enough time to take some notes with. Thank you. So let's get into it. So this week, the title is When Settling Feels Like Love. When settling feels like love. So actually, as I was writing this out and as I began to put thoughts into it and all those things, this is going to be a two-part podcast. I could do all of it in one, but I broke it up, and it's actually two parts. So part one is this. Did you really want what you lost? Let me repeat that. Did you really want what you lost? So kind of like the overall arching thing for this one is simply this. We become devastated when something ends. You lose a parent, you lose a game, you lose a career, whatever it is, we become devastated when something ends. Excuse me, it could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, when you leave a church, when you lose a job, business partnership dissolves, a season of our lives close. There's certain seasons in our life we just close. Now, I didn't have too much of a pity party when the season of my life was being in the club every night, all night. I didn't kind of lose any, I wasn't frustrated with that one, but you guys get my point, right? And then also, immediately we began focusing on what we lost. So when we lose something, we begin immediately focusing on what we love. But after the emotions settle, after we settle down and we get enough distance from that particular situation, whatever it may be, sometimes a very different question emerges. Here's the question. Did I really want what I just lost? Yes, sir. Did I really want what I just lost? Now, when my seasoned career ended in baseball, I absolutely asked this question. Did I really want what I just lost? And that question for my baseball career is absolutely I wanted it, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, there are some other things in my life that came to fruition. Initially, I was hurt. When you ask that question now, listen, absolutely not. I promise you I don't want it. I don't even want to go back and revisit it. So, so you ask those questions, right? So, I asked the question, did I really love it? Well, baseball, yes. Other things, maybe not so much. Did I really enjoy being there? Was I fulfilled? Was I connected? Was I growing? Oh, this is a big one. Was I growing in relationships? That's a huge one. Was I growing? Was I connected? Was I at peace? Most men, all we want, I don't say all, but most of the things we want is peace. I mean, anyway, I don't want to get into that. Let me just leave that alone. You just want to get that peace. Boy, that peace is something serious. Or had I simply gotten used to it? See, was I growing and was I connected and was I fulfilled? Did I really love it? All that stuff. That's all great questions. But then that other part, I like this. It says, or had I simply gotten used to it? Because see, sometimes we get used to something and we just don't want to go. We just say, all right, well, I'm just stuck here, so I'm not going to go in. No, if that's the case, we need to do some other things to get you unstuck, because that's unhealthy. Being in a situation or something to that effect that's not healthy, we can't do that. So you ask those questions, whether it's your job, whether it's your church, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your marriage, whatever it is, start asking those questions, right? Because there is a major difference between loving something and becoming attached to something. Let me say that again. Because there's a major difference between loving something and becoming attached to something. Yeah. And there is an even greater difference between choosing something and settling for something. How many, this is my own question for everybody, the whole family. How many of us have actually settled for something? Yeah. That's just the beginning. So write this down. So number one, sometimes the breakup isn't the tragedy. It's the revelation. Ooh, yes, sir. Sometimes the breakup isn't the tragedy. It's the revelation. It's the revelation. See, when something ends, our emotions immediately tell us, I lost something. And maybe you did. Perhaps you did. But ending creates something that relationships sometimes don't. Let me say that because the next word I'm going to say is powerful. Ending creates something that relationships sometimes don't. I'm going to say that again. Endings create something that relationships sometimes don't. And what is it that they don't? Distance. Yes, distance. And distance can give us a different perspective. It definitely can give us a perspective, right? While you're inside, while you're dealing with it, while you're all in the middle of it, you're often too busy maintaining it to evaluate it. We just, we in the middle of it, so we can't really evaluate it the way we can. A lot of times when I'm talking to Dr. Orm about certain things, sometimes, he'll say, man, I had to take myself out and listen as a guest, or I had to listen as a spectator, or I had to listen to listen as a fan, because then it gives me a totally different perspective, right? But if you're in the middle of it, sometimes we don't see certain things. So when you do that, a lot of times we're too busy in the middle just maintaining, and we can't really evaluate it, right? So because you're trying to make the relationship work. We are trying to make the job work. We're trying to fit into the church. We are trying to save the friendship. We're trying to keep the business going. We're trying to make what you chose, what I chose, because what you hope it would eventually be. See, when you're trying to make what you chose become what you hoped it would eventually be, that's something different, right? Because you're not actually looking at it the way it is. You're hoping it's what you wanted it to be, and that's actually not healthy. I don't say healthy. That's just not right. Because your mind is trying to make it into something that the reality of it is something. Here's what I always say. In the last few weeks, I've been getting this more and more. I've been listening and I've been praying a lot more, and really in this beautiful space, right? Here is something that I keep thinking about, and every time I think about it, I kind of smile. Inside of some churches, sometimes the pastor or the preacher or the guest pastor or the preacher would say something like, touch your neighbor, and then say neighbor, ... right? No, with me, I've always been conscious whenever I speak, whenever I preach, it's always about touch yourself. The reason I say that is because so many times we push things away to other people and we ignore ourselves because we like, oh, I'm not going through that, so I just push that away. But when you really begin to talk to yourself, the last few weeks I've been talking to ourselves, shifting the mindset away from everybody else into where we are. So we have to really look at this in a way that is not about somebody else, but now it's about us. It's all about elevating our thoughts, our mindset, our capacity, our mental focus, every single thing that you can think about to continue to make us better. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Yep, that's why we're here. So when you're making something into something you eventually want it to be, that's not going. That ain't gonna do it. But when it ends, see, after you make it eventually what you want it to be, but when it ends, you are no longer maintaining it. Now you can evaluate it. Once it ends, now you can truly evaluate it. Once I lost my baseball career, I can easily evaluate it, right? And sometimes evolution reveals something unforgettable. Yes, I'm sorry, I said evolution, evaluation. And sometimes evaluation reveals something uncomfortable. Sometimes evolution, I keep saying evolution, evaluation. Come on, Stanley, get yourself together, sir. Get yourself together. And sometimes evaluation reveals something uncomfortable. It truly reveals something uncomfortable. I wasn't happy there either. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't connected. I wasn't growing. I wasn't appreciated. I wasn't at peace. I wasn't becoming a leader. See how all of those things begin to really, because you can look at it objectively now. And now it starts to come out. So maybe the breakup didn't only take something away. Maybe it showed you something. Maybe it showed me something, right? So listen to this quote. Y'all can quote this one. This is for your boy. This is from me. Sometimes the breakup isn't the tragedy. The breakup is the revelation. Sometimes the breakup isn't the tragedy. The breakup is the revelation. Sometimes an ending finally gives you enough distance. Listen, finally gives you enough distance to see what you could see while you were fighting to keep it. Woo! That me right there all day long. I'm loyal. I'm probably loyal to a fault. Probably some people need to just be moved out of my life, or some places need to be moved, or some organizations, or whatever it may be, right? Because I'm loyal. I'm really, really, really loyal. But once it's over and I get a chance to really take a look at it, a lot of times it's like, wow, yeah, I really wasn't dot, dot, dot. Whatever that was, wasn't you saying I really wasn't growing, I really wasn't at peace, I really wasn't fulfilled or connected or whatever it may be. Sometimes that happens at the distance. So here's a question I want to ask you guys. I want to ask you guys this. What can you see about the situation today that you couldn't see while you were inside of it? What can you see about the situation today that you couldn't see while you were inside of it? I'll say for me, it is an immense amount of things that I was able to see, clarify, get confirmation from God, and so many other things because I got away from it. And soon as I was able to break free of it, man, it was so much revelation that came out of it. It was unbelievable. All right. So that's number one. Number two, did you love it or did you become attached to it? This distinction is very, very important. Love and attachment are not, I repeat, love and attachment are not necessarily the same thing. It's not. It's not. We can become attached to like a routine, familiarity, security, history, especially history. Boy, in some relationship, boy, the history, history. Because some people been married and they've been trying to get out for a long time, but the history and familiarity and the routine, they're like, I'm just going to stay, right? Yeah. But anyway, identity, position, people, possessions, expectations, belongings, simply knowing what tomorrow looks like. That's comfort, right? You sitting, you're comfortable. Well, you know what? I'm good right here. And you hear some people say, well, at least I know the devil that I'm with. At least I know the devil that I go to job with every day. At least, Nah, we just staying still. I don't want to get into that, but you get my picture. And because losing those things hurt, because then when you start losing, that hurt, boy, that you snatch that thing away, you snatch that history away, you snatch that comfort away, those things hurt. We assume the pain provides how much we actually love them. But pain doesn't always mean I lost what I love. It doesn't. Sometimes pain means something familiar changed. Listen to that. Something familiar something familiar changed. You can miss something you don't need back. Listen to me. You can miss something you do not need back. I'm going to say it one more time. You can miss something you don't need back. You can grieve something you wouldn't choose again. Ooh, ding, 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 ding. Let me read it again. You can grieve something you wouldn't choose again. Boy, that took a whole bunch of weight off somebody's shoulders. You can grieve something you wouldn't choose again. Yes. You can feel sad about the ending while simultaneously knowing the ending was necessary. Yes. You can feel sad, about an ending while simultaneously knowing the ending was necessary. When something is necessary, boy, it may not feel good. You got to take your medicine sometime, but it's good. Boy, it's good. It's good. It's going to help you out in the end. So here's a question. If I encountered this today, knowing everything I know now, would I choose it again? If I encountered this today, knowing everything I know now, would I choose it again? So that's the question. But don't ask this. Not, do I miss it? Did we have a good time? Was I there a long time? Did I invest a lot? The question is, would I choose it today? Would you choose it today? Because sometimes what we're fighting to recover is something we wouldn't consciously choose. Listen to that word. That word is important. Consciously. Because sometimes what we're fighting to recover is something we wouldn't consciously choose if there were present to us for the first time. If it was presented to us the first time today, we wouldn't choose it. Consciously, we wouldn't choose it. You would not have slept with that man or that woman for that one night stand. Yep, let's break it open now. You would not have done that. Not at all. You know, getting into that relationship, he ain't mean no good or she wasn't worth nothing. You knew that up front. You knew she was a gold digger. You know he was lazy and wasn't trying to do nothing in his life. You knew it. So today, if I ask those questions today, you would say, oh no, I wouldn't choose that. You went to that church knowing it was a bunch of BS. You went around those people knowing they were crazy. You went and joined this organization, know they a little la-la. Right? But if you ask yourself today, when you went and got those tattoos all up and down, or got the, what they call it, the tramp stamp, all of those things, and then you ask yourself today, would you have done? You'd be like, oh no, there's no way in the world I would have got that. I would have got her name tattooed on my chest or on my biceps. I would have got his name tattooed on my chest or on my back or on my neck. Oh no, we wouldn't have did that. But we did it. But now consciously, when you ask that question, would you? The answer is no. It's no. Let me go to number 3 because I can keep going. Let me go to number 3. Let's take the question everywhere. I don't want to just limit it to just a romantic relationship, somebody you'll boo or nothing like that. So let me start with relationships and then we're going to get to the rest of them, right? So the relationship. If you met the person today, knowing everything you know now, oh, man, hold on, let me get my seat together. If you met the person today, knowing everything you know now, would you choose them? Well, I can see some people contemplating now. Not the person you hope they would become. Let me say that again. Not the person you hope they would become. Yeah, I feel this strongly because I always want to be transparent, but I want to be transparent in such a way to where people understand it is not to tear somebody down, but I put myself on the carpet or on the rug or in the square or on the guillotine, right? So if you were to ask my ex, she would say absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not the person I hope that he would be, right? Okay, cool. I put myself there, so now put yourself there and ask that same question to you. And what will your answer be? Now, I'll put it and say, I was the problem. I was the issue. What would your problem be? Now, if you ask me, would you? Absolutely not. Not even close, right? But you have to ask yourself and be honest, because sometimes we don't really want to be honest. You have to be honest. You don't want it to be the person they were doing the first few months. See, we don't want that person. It wouldn't be the person that you first had in the first few months. Not their potential, not your memories, who they actually are. That's the power. Who they actually are. Would you choose them? Would you choose them of who they actually are? So pause. Yes, I'm just hearing God. Just as something I want to say. If you're contemplating getting married, getting in a relationship, going back and forward, doing X's and O's, good and bad, all of those things, and you're doing all of that, that's not the person for you. That's not. Make sure you're healed. Make sure you're whole. And then when you're bringing whatever it is to the table, make sure they're actually who they say they are. Let me give you guys a tip for relationships real quick. I dare you. I'm going to say it out loud. I triple dog dare you to get to know somebody. Not to know somebody for 6 weeks, but truly get to know them. Not on all of these romantic dates and all of these romantics, this and that's and traveling and all that stuff, but truly get to know them. And you will know exactly if that person you can go forward and date then start to have really good dates and beautiful dates and all that stuff, or if it's somebody, they're a really nice person, but we are not connected. Don't be in a rush. I'm looking dead in the camera. Do not be in a rush. Don't be in a rush to get married. Don't be in a rush for the wedding and forget all about the day after the wedding. Don't do that. After the honeymoon, yep. What now? Marry someone that's whole, that's honest, that can look in your eye. You can look them in your eye, and you're there. That person have your back for real, not for play, for richer or for poor, for goodness and sickness and in health. All of that matters. All of that matters. But at the very beginning, when you meet the little cutie or you meet the handsome guy, don't all of a sudden say, oh, that's my husband, or oh, that's my wife. It might be crazy. Give it some time. Truly get to know them. You know, I hear people saying, and I'm way off script. I'm way, but I gotta get this out. I hear people talking about what's their credit score and what's this and what's that and all this stuff. First of all, I don't know you enough to let you know I got a 400 credit score or 800 credit score. That's not your business right now. Do I know who you are? Who are you? So before you start talking, yeah, well, what's your credit score? So I can hear some people say, oh, well, that's wasting my time. It's not wasting your time. It's not your business to know if it's their credit score as of yet. You have to get much further down the line. First date, somebody say, what's your credit score? Are you a millionaire? Are you a billionaire? What? Wait, what? What does that have to do with, do I even like you? Do I even want to sit around a table from you? Don't know. I heard Bishop Jake say this. You know, one of the things he told, I think, his children is when that day comes and I die, who do you want standing beside you in all of that emotional stress and meaning you're grieving and all of that stuff? Who do you want standing beside you? If, God forbid, nothing happens and you go into the hospital, who do you want at your bedside? Who do you want handling all of the financial transactions? Who do you want to be there making sure your parents are taken care of or informed, and all of those are your siblings and your extended families? Who do you want there standing by your bedside, nursing you back to health? Male or female? Stop rushing. I don't know where that came from, but I'm just going to be obedient. Stop rushing. Stop rushing. That was for somebody that's truly contemplating dating somebody, truly contemplating, do I want to get married or not? Truly contemplating all that. If you start to contemplate all of that, it's not your time yet. Because when that person comes and you're doing what you're supposed to do, I guarantee you will know without a shadow of a doubt what that actually looks like and what that means. I'm telling you. I promise. All right. So the next one is the job. If that company offers you the exact same position today, knowing the culture, knowing the leadership, knowing the compensation, the environment, the expectations and opportunities and so on, would you accept it? If the answer is no, what exactly are you mourning? Come on. Work with me now. Work with me now. The church. If you walk through the doors of the church, the vestibule, the foyer, whatever you want to call it today, for the very first time today, knowing everything you know, all the leadership, what is the pastor, the preacher, the bishop, the reverend, the elder, whoever it is, knowing all of that, would you join? Not because your family attends there. Not because your family attends there. Not because you've been there 15 years. Nope, not that. Not because everybody knows your name. Nope, that sounds like Cheers, where everybody know your name. Not that, not the Cheers church, right? Would you choose that environment for your spiritual growth today? You have to answer that question. Right? For the friendship. If you met that person today, would you pursue the friendship? The friendship. I ain't talking about the relationship. No, romantic relationship. I'm talking about the friendship. I have some friends that I would absolutely do it again. I would absolutely do it again. I promise you today, I would absolutely do it again. Dr. Orm, yes. My sister in Dallas, Tansia, yes. My sister in Georgia, Hazel, yeah. I mean, I got people. Now, I don't want to keep calling names because I'm going to forget somebody and I'm going to get these little nasty phone calls. But y'all get the point, right? Yeah, I would absolutely, right? Would you trust them? Would you invite them into your inner circle? Would you choose the relationship if history wasn't making the decision for you? Would you choose the relationship if history wasn't making it for you? That's uncomfortable. Would you choose that relationship if history wasn't making the decision for you? Because sometimes our history with something is the primary reason it still has a place in our lives. Yeah. See, we keep all of that history, right? You know, I went to Southern with this one, and I went to Chalmette with that one, and I went to Delgado with that one, and just because of the history, we still friends. You know, I went to play baseball at Rebel Park, and I went to Lacoste Middle, and that. All of that's cute. That's nice. That's fine. But that's all history. What do they deserve? What are they doing to deserve your attention, your time? Well, you know, I was in this particular company, and I met some great people, and we went to some great conferences. I was in this particular part of One Voice, and I did this. Okay, all that's cute. All that's great, right? I was in that. All that's great. But what are they doing now, today, for your attention? What are they doing for you to give them your attention? Yeah, you got to ask that question. You got to ask that question, because sometimes our history is something. Because sometimes our history with some things is the primary reason it still has a place in our lives. Let it go. Let that car go. Let that screwdriver go. Let some of that stuff go. What are you hoarding all of those clothes for? Let it go. Let it go. See, I would choose my sister again. My blood sister. I would absolutely choose my blood sister again, without a shadow of a doubt. It's just my sister and I would absolutely choose my blood sister again, right? Absolutely choose my blood sister again. But then there are some people would you actually choose your blood? Oh, there's no way in the world. Just because we got history, I'm not going to choose them. You have to make those decisions. You have to make those decisions. It's gonna free you up. It's gonna free you up. All right, let's get to number 4. Number 4, what are you actually grieving? Because sometimes we say, I miss them. But what exactly do you miss? What exactly do you miss? Maybe you miss having somebody to call. Maybe you miss companionship. Maybe you miss the routine. Maybe you miss knowing somebody was there. Maybe you miss the lifestyle. Maybe you miss being wanted. Oh, that hurt. My God, that hurt. Maybe you miss the security. Maybe you miss the paycheck. Maybe you miss the position. Maybe you miss the title of husband or wife, or just the title, period. Maybe you miss the people surrounding the situation. Maybe you miss who you were. Maybe you miss who you were while you were there. Or maybe your pride is wounded because they left you. My goodness. Ding, 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 ding. Or maybe your pride is wounded because they left you. Maybe it's that pride thing again. And here, something we don't always want to admit. See, that pride thing in somebody left, we don't want to miss that. But check this out. You don't necessarily want them back. You just want them to leave. You don't necessarily want them back. You just didn't want them to leave. You didn't necessarily want them back. You just didn't want them to leave. Those are two completely, boy, that thing hurt. Those are two completely, totally different things. Hey, y'all listen to this. Sometimes rejection hurts even when we didn't truly want the things that rejected us. Wow. Sometimes rejection hurts even when we didn't truly want the things that rejected us. So before you call what you're expecting love, identify exactly what you're grieving. Because you may discover, I don't miss the relationship, I miss what the relationship provided. Sit with this question for a second. Are you grieving what you lost or finally confronting what you settled for? My goodness, that thing hurt. Are you grieving what you lost or finally confronting what you settled for? Sit with that. Don't answer it too quickly. Just sit with that. Because those are two very different kinds of pain. One is the pain of losing something valuable. The other is the pain of realizing how long you accepted less than what you truly wanted. Woo! Wait! I forgot it's Virgo season. I should have told y'all the Virgos coming through. All right, let's do number 5. I want to climb on out of here in a little bit. All right, let's do number 5. Boy, that was good. I got to go back to that again. One is the pain of losing something valuable. The other is the pain of realizing how long you accepted less than what you truly wanted. Jeez, my God, Louise, good googly goo. All right, number 5. Sometimes we don't love the person, we love their potential. Let me say that again. Sometimes we don't love the person, we love the potential. She is fine. Boy, she got some potential. But hey, remember I said, take your time, get to know her, then you realize, oh, that girl crazy? No indeed. Would you choose it? No. He is, oh my God, he fine. Oh, you got to know him a little bit? Oh my God, he got a few screws missing. He a little off. Yeah. Would you choose him again? No, not at all. See, you got to take our time. Don't fall in love with how fine she is or how handsome he is. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Take our time because we don't want to fall in love with their potential. Oh, he cuts all of the grass. But he comes inside and he lazy every day. He cut grass and he don't do nothing else. He lazy. I could go on and on and on, but you guys get the point. All right, so number 5. Sometimes we don't love the person, we love their potential. This is where the relationships become especially complicated. Sometimes we don't fall in love with who somebody actually is. Yes, I ran into that situation. I'm sorry. We fall in love with who we believe they're going to be. We see potential, we see possibilities, we see glimpses. And then we construct an entire future around the glimpse. Now you're not in a relationship with reality. You're not. You're in a relationship with potential. Wow. Yeah, this hurt a lot of folks because it hurt me. And every time reality disappoints us, potential whispers, just give it a little bit longer. They're going to change. Yes. It's going to get better. They're almost there. But eventually, we have to ask, am I loving who this person actually is? Or am I loving who I keep hoping they'll become? Well, that's rough right there. And this isn't limited to people, just FYI. We do it with companies. Things are going to change. We do it with the church. Leadership will eventually fix this, which they don't. That's a whole other discussion. I get a whole energy coming with that. We do it with business. It's about to take off. We do it with friendship. They'll eventually start showing up for me the way I show up for them. They won't. Sometimes we're not committed to reality. We're committed to possibilities. Let me give y'all another one. This is a quote from your boy again. Sometimes the hardest thing to break up with isn't the person, it's the future you imagine with them. Let me read that again. Sometimes the hardest thing to break up with isn't the person, it's the future you imagine with them. I got somebody in my head right now that fit that Stanleyism. Because when the relationship ends, you're not only burying what happened, you're burying what you thought was going to happen. And sometimes that's what we're actually crying over. Here's another quote. Sometimes you're not crying over what you lost, you're crying over what you thought it was going to become. Sometimes you're not crying over what you lost, you're crying over what you thought it was going to become. Yep. Let me get to number 6. I got to climb on out of here. This thing getting good. Number 6. Then why did you settle? OMG. Ring the bell. I'm going to find me a bell to ring in here. I promise y'all I am. Number 6. Then why did you settle? Now we have to turn the mirror around. It's easy to spend the entire conversation talking about what they didn't do. They didn't appreciate me. They didn't love me properly. The company didn't recognize me. The church wasn't feeling me. My friend wasn't there for me. All of that may be true, but eventually we have to ask another question. Why did I stay? Why did I choose it? Why did I continue accepting something I knew wasn't what I truly wanted? Maybe it was just simply loneliness. It was fear. It was convenience. It was security. It was money. It was age. It was children. It was family expectation. It was social pressure. It was your low expectations. It was fear of starting over. I just heard that from somebody last week. Maybe it was the fear of starting over. It was the fear that nothing better was coming. Or maybe it was simply available. That deserves some thought. Let me not say they deserve some thought. That deserves some thought. Maybe it was just simply available. It was just available. Because availability can become incredibly attractive when you've been waiting a long time. When you've been waiting a long time, certain stuff you kind of settle. Somebody wants you. Somebody wants me. A company wants to hire me. A church welcomes you. A business opportunity presents itself. And sometimes we interpret an open door as confirmation. But sometimes being available doesn't mean aligned. Woo! Sometimes being available does not mean it's aligned. Someone choosing you doesn't automatically mean you should choose them. Being offered something doesn't mean you should accept it. Y'all heard good. All money ain't good money. Yeah, I'm all down your street. And somebody loving you doesn't automatically mean you're supposed to build a life with them. Here's another quote. Your life doesn't only reflect what you deserve. A lot of time it reflects what you've been willing to choose. Let me read that again. Your life doesn't only reflect what you deserve. A lot of time it reflects what you've been willing to choose. That's not condemnation either. That's responsibility. And responsibility gives us the power to make make a different choice next time. Yes, responsibility gives us the power to make a different choice next time. So when you see that knucklehead coming, run on. When you see that gold digger truck, keep on going. I don't care how handsome or fine y'all, keep going. When you see that company coming with all the bells and whistles, and you be like, something ain't right, keep on going. The right things will come to you. Number 7, how much of your life did you actually choose? How much of your life did you actually choose? How much of your life did you actually choose? Now we're beyond breakups. This becomes a life conversation. Look around your life. How much of it did you intentionally choose? And how much did you simply accept? Your career, how much of it did you choose or you accept? Your relationship, your friendship, your environment, your routine, your lifestyle, your standards, your commitments. How many of it did you choose or how many of it did you settle for? Sometimes life slowly becomes something we never consciously chose. Because we've been here so long, I'm just going to ride it out. We made one compromise, then another, then we adjusted, then we got comfortable, then we learned how to function there. Eventually, we wake up inside a life that doesn't resemble what we actually wanted. I'm a living witness. Not necessarily because somebody forced us there, because one, I was disobedient, and let me give you another one, because somewhere along the lines, we stopped choosing. We stopped choosing ourselves. We stopped choosing it in a great way. We stopped putting our creator first, and then we start choosing all kind of stuff to fit in so we can make them feel good. Or we start doing all kind of stuff to say, okay, well, this job, I got a 401k, or I got some good vacation time, but that's not what you're supposed to be. Okay, I'm sorry. I had an adrenaline rush. Excuse me. And this is where I want to leave part one. Don't think only about people who left. Don't think only about the job you lost. Don't think only about the church you left. Don't think only about the friendships that ended. Don't think only about the business you stopped. Look at your entire life and ask, are you living the life you chose, or are you living or the life you gradually accepted? Let me read that again. Are you living the life you chose or the life you gradually accepted? That's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy. I'm gonna say that one more time. Are you living the life you chose or the life you gradually accepted? Because maybe the greatest revelation from an ending isn't discovering who somebody else was. Man, this is so, I'm going to read that one again too. Because maybe the greatest revelation from an ending isn't discovering who somebody else was. Maybe it's discovering who you had become while trying to make something work that you never truly wanted. Ouch. That hurt. They say if you can't say amen, say ouch. Ouch. Maybe it's discovering who you had become while trying to make something work that you never truly wanted. And perhaps that's why this ending hurts differently. You're not only grieving what you lost, you're finally confronting what you settled for. Let me close this out and climb on the house, because part two is going to be incredible. Before you rush to retake what ended, before you ask for another relationship, before you take another job, before you join another organization, before you recreate what you just lost, ask yourself, would I actually choose what I just lost if it were offered to me today? And if the answer is no, part two has an even harder question waiting for us. It has an even harder question. It's crazy, right? This is the other question. Why did you choose it the first time? I got it. Yeah, I'm leaving it right there. Let me close this out. I got to go back to this because it's oh my God, it's so powerful. Would you actually choose what you just lost if it were offered to you today? Would I actually choose what I just lost if it were offered for me today? If the answer is no, then why did you choose it the first time? Yeah, I'm going to let y'all sit with that for a week. Y'all sit with that one for a week. Because when you talk about closing, oh my God, that is beautiful. All right, let me close out and get out of here. Thank y'all. This podcast was all of that and then some. But thank you guys so very much. For all of our first time visitors, go to letstalkwithstanleydoucette.com. It has all the previous podcasts on there, from alignment to loving without walls and so many other things that's there. I can't remember one of them. Somebody told me it was just incredible, right? But y'all, all the podcasts lately have, they've just been off the meter. So invite some more people to join us. Have some people go to our YouTube channel. Go to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette on the YouTube channel. That's LET''S. Go there and join our community there. Like, subscribe, share with some other people around the world. Be with us every Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central. I love to have you guys. I love their interactions. Thank you guys for all of the texts, the emails, the confirmations, all of that stuff. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. So listen, I will see you guys next week for part 2. If y'all come back for part 2. If this one making you come back for part 2, it's going to be that and then some. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all guys on the beaches of the world. God bless, and y'all have a great, great week. Be blessed. Peace.